Good day, Tamers. Welcome back to some me and you time, Agito, and the Tamers of the world out there. If you follow me on Twitter, I did the throwing oil on the fire syndrome that a lot of people like to do. I like to do occasionally. Sometimes it's good for the community, sometimes it's bad for the community. Sometimes it's bad for me. I don't really mind. I've been here long enough. I'm old enough to know the difference. We need to make Digimon great as content creators. A lot of people out there just do the boring old things of here's a deck profile, here's some spice. That's not spice. It's generally like the basic standard. Or they put like, oh, there's technically like a space in the deck, so let's put like a random card in that doesn't really matter. It's not a spice. Or people like myself now who've got into the routine of like just doing new stuff. Unfortunately, I'm really busy. Lots of issues on this end, but that's not for YouTube stuff. So unfortunately, I do have to sort of rely more on like, hey, here's some new stuff that you may have missed because not everyone's watching PANDA, not everyone's looking at the correct channels, and then some people just like my witty takes of like, hey, this card's terrible because it's a new archetype, you've not really worked it out fully yet. Looking at the green stuff with Fortitude, not great. Leomon stuff, fantastic, love it. Wish it was a little bit better in terms of competitive playability, but deck seems really good, and maybe down the line it'll be even better. Mad Leomon coming soon, but yeah, people like my friend Kev, Let's Play Pokemon, or Kevski TCG. He does like these really cool animated videos. He does like deck profiles, like really goes into like things that are just like crazy for the sake of it being crazy because he likes Digimon. Just like a few like deep dives into certain like cards and how they work and how like they've affected the meta. The guy is like an editor as like his day job, so you know his videos are really well made, and he's like one of the very few people who can say that he's honestly the foremost in video design work when it comes to like how he edits his stuff. I'm not saying other people do bad jobs. A lot of people sort of either do like a very basic like, oh, this looks cool for other people, I'll just use it as well. And that's not bashing them. Obviously, we all have our own things, we all have our own time, we all have what we can put into things. And as you grow as a creator, obviously you want to put more effort in, you want to put more time in. If you get really big and you can make enough money from it, then you can probably pay someone to edit your videos nicely and make them look even nicer than that, and then so forth and so on, and that gets the ball rolling. Unfortunately, unlike a lot of the other higher tier card games out there, we are stuck with what we have. We have webcam games, like this camera here, nice camera, I can get it to focus really nicely, have like a really nice looking board state on there, and record really nicely on Discord. But not everyone has nice cameras. Some people have like these cheap like $20 cameras from Walmart that barely pick up anything, let alone words on a card. And that doesn't make for good content for you guys. Doesn't make good content for me. I don't want to play against someone who has those kind of webcams. To be fair, I have to play against that when I go do online stuff. One of the reasons I started doing casting more often was because essentially I wasn't enjoying playing people. I can't see what they're doing, and you can see that they're messing around, but because the camera's so bad, and you call a judge over, and they're like, well, I can see that there's got a webcam, there's cards in front of it, what's the problem? So yeah, but I can't see what the cards say, I can't see what the cards are doing. You can just say, oh yeah, this is Exodia. So I'm playing the wrong game here, bud. And I was just getting bored of that, to be fair. And casting's really fun, because you get to see, sometimes you get to see a lot of different decks. You'll see like people's takes on it, how good like a pilot is into a deck. And then you just get like 6 rounds of blue flare. Blue flare's got a blue flare thing, it's going to do what it does. And that's just the story we have. Obviously, in the next coming weeks, we have 2 Ultimate Cups here in Europe with the new rule sets, which is the block rule sets, I'm going to say, which from RB1 to a present set. So for us, it's like BT14 for OPE, and then it's I think EX5 for our Raid and Trade. It's technically the only event that's currently available for Europe that has EX5 in it. So hopefully we actually get that. I've asked the question, but no one's got back to me yet because they're busy like sorting out other stuff. Because I think they've got One Piece regionals around the same time that they need to keep an eye on. So it's going to be really busy for them. So we'll see what goes on there. And that's kind of like what I have to do these days. I keep you guys hopefully entertained on the airwaves with my beautiful, sexy, deep, manly voice that keeps you guys coming back for more. And hopefully, as long as I don't upset any of the representatives from either of the companies that I work with, you can keep hearing my sexy voice on live during every podcast and every regional announcement going forward. hopefully next year I'll be able to cast for you guys again. I actually had a really good time playing for a change, as you can guess, I don't really get to play much these days. I went 2-7. I'm happy with that because at the end of the day, I don't get to play. I literally picked up the deck that morning and played it and did as well as I could. But I love to do like blog content for you guys. I'm just not really the person that I think would work well in a blog format. I don't really like the whole like, hey guys, oh, I'm at the event, look, ooh, high rise shot, ooh, low rise shot, ooh, there's a city behind me. It's not for me. It's not my thing. I don't think you guys want that from me. I think you do like the deep talking voice, long semantic videos. I think podcasting is like where you probably want to hear me from. You want to hear what's going on in the world. You want to hear what's going on with the TCG, especially from Europe. If you're interested in what's going on in Europe, you know, we keep an eye on what's going on in America because we like to see like what's going on. I noticed that, so like, for whatever reason, like 60% of you guys are crazy enough to listen to me in America. Thank you for joining me over here, the other side of the pond. But are you interested in what's going on over here in Europe? Or are you just interested in what the crazy guy from Britain has to say? And then I think like 11% of my viewers are from Italy. You're crazy. You don't understand what I'm saying. I don't understand what I'm saying half the time. But I do appreciate it. But yeah, I sent out a tweet today. I sent it to Taste. I sent it out to DigiPanda because I know he's been keeping an eye on what I'm doing lately. He keeps popping up in my comments. You know I'm reading them. You know I'm sending you back messages. You know I'm the kind of person that will, you know, reply to messages. I sent it to Senor Fear. Cool chap, does like the tournament scene. He does like his own mats. I have one of his Galantmon mats. They're really cool. I'm actually the person that was like, could you maybe do the edges on them, because my kids are terrible and they'll destroy the edges if they're not like stitched. You can blame me for that one. You can blame me for a lot of things, to be fair. And I sent it to Kev as well. I was like, guys, we need to just make Digimon great. Not again. We've never been there. We've never had a great moment in Digimon yet. But we need to be the people who are putting things to the front. You know, there's obviously a bigger creator out there, but they're the ones I thought would be willing to sort of like come back to me. It's still early days. People at work, people asleep. Maybe they'll get back to me later in the day. Maybe they'll get back to me tomorrow. We can go from there. But yeah, we do need to pull our combined efforts together and actually make something good. You know, look at all the other scenes out there. You know, Commander stuff's doing really well for MTG. Yu-Gi-Oh stuff like, you know, Edison format stuff, coverage stuff. Josh Schmidt just winning the YCS over in Bologna with a deck that was fairly competent, but nice to see the great things. And then you got us guys over here, everyone's playing Mirage because bouncing things is funny. Ha ha, bounce, bounce. And that's like what we're doing over here. There's not really anything interesting going on right now. And that's the problem with Digimon, I feel like. There's always that one deck in the room that just makes everything kind of boring. And it's got to be either security control or a bouncing deck that you just can't ignore. Because the unfortunate thing is the decks that are good against that deck get beaten by the decks that, you know, the third deck in the room. And it's just where you get like boring finals where like half the people are playing the same deck because they all just avoided the people that they had to avoid earlier in the competition. And that is competitions in effect. That's just card games as a general rule. As I said before, Hunters was a good deck. Hunters got top 8. Congratulations to you again, Darren. But yeah, like, a good deck is a good deck, and if nothing gets banned and nothing gets hit, you're never going to see any problems. But before I keep rambling on, yeah, we need to make Digimon great. We need to do something interesting. When we get a simulator, I think it'll be really good, because people will be playing more games. People will get better because they can actually put time into it. One of the issues I have is I don't have a local scene anymore. A lot of them got snapped up by Yu-Gi-Oh coming back and Magic, because Magic's very expensive. So a lot of people are like, I can't afford to play Digimon because it's too expensive. It's like, dude, you want like 4p cards. What are you on about? You literally just threw £400 at like Magic because you wanted to play a Commander deck. Oh, well, you know, Digimon's expensive. It's not expensive in Europe. Or they went into Yu-Gi-Oh because they remember it being really cool, and then someone brought a modern day deck in and literally blitzed the room because they're all playing decks from like 8 years ago, and they're all crying their eyes out because, oh man, like, it's not fair, you're playing current day decks, my deck's only from like 2014. It's like, what? It's an OTS store, what do you think's going to happen? People will stop crying about it. But we can do better. We need to do better. I'm hoping the news we get that the Digimon, whatever it is, Digimon Universe is going to be like a manga and a series, that we get a simulator so we can play more games, so like people who are competent can get better. And I think that's the issue with a lot of people, especially people who don't speak English as a first language. I know like a lot of my viewers are American, probably, and the rest of them are like UK, and then obviously it's like spread around Europe. But like if you're French, like you don't always get the grammar correct in English sentence structures. You don't always get the sentence structure right if you're German or if you're Dutch or if you're Spanish or Italian or Portuguese, because the sentence structure is not the same. And there were misplays. For instance, I had an opponent last weekend who was, I believe, Spanish or Portuguese and spoke no English, and all he did was grunt at me and point at cards. To be fair, like, you've probably like looked at the cards, you know what your cards do to a point, because every time I tried to do something in return, he was like, judge, and would speak to them in Spanish or Portuguese, and then obviously would be like, yeah, he wants to do this. And it's like, yeah, it's fine. But that's the problem when you have a card game that doesn't have multiple languages. Like it's what we have now. We have Korean, or simplified Korean, simplified Japanese. Japanese, simplified Chinese now, and English, and that's our 4 languages for the card game. 3 Asian languages and 1 European language. And it's like, yeah, I understand why people struggle with like learning how sentence structures work for a card game when it's not the same sentence structure you use in your language. It's also one of the reasons why the Digimon sentence structure has a lot of issues, because Japan doesn't use the same structure of language as English, which is why some of the card effects come out like really weird, or like they have to errata them, because it's like, oh yeah, we've got to like put a suffix in here. We need to go from there. I don't think this is going to be a rambling video, I do apologise. But yes, hopefully some of the content creators will get back to me. We'll get into like a group chat, we'll have a talk, we'll see what's going on, we'll see if we can make something really good for you guys. Something interesting. Obviously I want to do more podcasts with my judgy crew, because I love those boys. Hopefully in the future I'll get the big judge man on himself, and you guys can have a discussion with him. Give me some questions for him. I'll happily answer them. Send them on to him to answer them. I'm sure he'll be quite willing to. Adam's pretty good about that, Mr. Red Scar. And James Barnett will be here. I'd love to also do a webcam one, but as I said before, people don't always have good webcams. It's not really fair on them. As you can tell, James doesn't have a microphone that he can really use. I think he just shouts at his phone. And I'm not too sure about Adam. I think Adam has a good microphone, so maybe me and him will have a nice, smooth conversation. And James can yell at us in a tinny background microphone from his Android phone. But yeah, we need to do something, guys. We need to do something to make Digimon better. We're losing out where we shouldn't be. Lorcana's getting really big because it's a Digimon IP, even though from everyone I've heard from, it's terrible. BSS is trying to be picking up speed again. Like in the card games, it's not really doing it, but obviously PANDA's trying to throw money on it to make it good. Unfortunately, that means less money for Digimon. One Piece is doing fantastic. I have no issue with another card game in the same space doing well. I just have no interest in One Piece myself. So for those of you who wonder why, I'm going to be honest with you right now, because I presume most of you are my fans. There's probably a couple of people out there like always like neg my my videos. That's fine. But I've been asked a few times, hey, could you cast for One Piece? And I'm like, look, I'm super honest with you. I have no idea what One Piece is about. Like the card game, I kind of know what the manga and the anime is about. I've got no interest in it. I've heard it's basically a simplified version of Digimon, and if you just know any of the character names, you'll be able to like cast it. And I was like, I'm just going to be super honest with you. I only want to cast Digimon because I like Digimon, because it's a card game I actually enjoy. It's a card game that I'm into. I always make the joke of like, I don't know what Hunters does, and as a rule I kind of still don't, but like every other deck in the format I know how it works, because there's always been decks I'm interested in learning. I don't know why Hunters is this one deck that I just never learned, but it's always going to like encroach me in the back now until we ban some stuff. Ban that Clock Man, get rid of him, it's too good. Security attack +1, a card that just doesn't have to attack. God damn it, it's just so mean. But yeah, I'd like to do more stuff for the community. I know, obviously, hearing my voice for some of you people is enjoyable. We've been here long enough now. The channel is nearly 4 years old at this point. So I think a lot of you here are used to hearing this grumbly old man voice with the beard that's now growing back out again. But yeah, I think I miss it if I do start making content, to be fair. The only reason I do is because I do, to a degree, enjoy making the content. Mrs. Swiftly asked me literally last night, she goes, do you enjoy making content? I was like, sometimes I love making content, because sometimes I get to have my own ideas, I get to bring it to you guys. Sometimes it will actually pick up steam and it feels good. And then other times, I'll make content and I'll get like no views. You put the effort in and it's just like, it's not so much a wasted time, but it just feels like your efforts were not valued. Like, if you go look at some of my other stuff in the past, I've got some videos out there that have like 5,000-6,000 views now. And then there's some other videos that I put a lot more effort into that have like 100 views. It is a little bit demoralising. But I'm also well aware that I destroyed this channel, because originally it was a Pokemon channel, then it went to a Yu-Gi-Oh channel, then it came to Digimon channel when Digimon came out. So I know that my algorithm in the background is always just going to be destroyed until either I make it big or never make it again. Which also, thank you guys, by the way, because I've had like 50 new subs this month. So, mwah, appreciate you all. It does help, and I always appreciate the guys that have been here for the longest. Some of you are actually willing to tell YouTube that you've been fans of mine for a long time. I do occasionally get messages from some of you guys who've been like, subscribed for 2 years, which is like, you know, thank you. You are like, you know, part of the reason I'm still here and not insane more. So, but yeah, just keep going, but because I don't really know how to end this. I just want Digimon to be good. I want Digimon to be great. It's a good card game. It's a fun card game. It's relatively accessible to most people who want to get into a card game. I know that learning like 15 keywords seems really hard, but it's obviously a lot easier than learning how like ignition effects work and how discard effects work, and then how recycling effects work, and then like when banish effects hit to discharge something else, or non-deletion effects work, where like, you know, as long as the card isn't deleted, or if it is deleted, like the effect will also trigger on. Whereas, you know, Digimon's pretty much, what does the card say? Figure out where the grammar is. That's what the card says and does. Which is a conversation probably for the next podcast, where we talk about like how judges will give you 3 different answers from 3 different judges, because they all think different things, because again, language is the barrier. Peace out, tamers. Love you all. Ciao for now. And we will see you guys in the next one. That hopefully won't be as heartfelt to me, and hopefully will be a bit more entertaining for you. But yeah, bye for now.